Michelle, if you could take roll, please.
Mike Fry is absent.
Thank you. All right, have everybody had a chance to review minutes from last month? Do I have a motion to approve? Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Nobody.
Who was first?
Kathy?
Okay.
And then Jillian.
Okay.
All right, Kelsey is not here tonight, I don't believe. So we'll move to public participation. If anybody would like to speak in front of council, now's the time to do it. Okay, nobody's there to speak. Okay, mayor's report. Do we have, Tom, are you able to put up the PowerPoint? The project schedule? We don't have it. Well, council, in front of you, you have a PowerPoint. I thought it was worthwhile to make the effort to lay out the project schedule that we have heading into the summer. I think after all the work we've been doing and people asking questions about what happens when, that we would have a bit of a schedule you could look at and you could communicate with the residents as to what to expect. Just keep in mind things can change, weather can cause change. There's a couple of things on here that we're actually talking about tonight that would like council's approval on to move forward on a few additional things that you see on this schedule. But this is just so you know and you can communicate the activities we have underway. All right? All right, moving on to council president report. Jillian.
I had a good conversation with Tyler from Berkshire regarding the fireworks, and he's going to see what they can do on their side as far as contributing to the fireworks that Big Walnut is putting on. And so tonight I'm going to be asking if we can donate $2,500 to that effort. I came up with that figure based off of our joint recreational agreement, and Galena supports 10% of that. And so with the cost of the fireworks, police, and firemen, that's about what we would contribute if this fell into that agreement. So that's what I'll be asking for. I will ask for it to be an emergency because the Big Walnut Civic has to make the deposit for the fireworks within the next week or so for the 4th of July. So we won't be able to do the 3 readings to hit that in time. Outside of that, I wanted to let everybody know that now that it's public knowledge, I've shared it with council in an executive session, but we've been in conversations with Harlem Township. And all it is us looking to be partners with them, providing them sewer. So one thing that I've appreciated about this growth plan that has caused a lot of noise, I'm not going to act like it's the elephant in the room, but that has been a very nice document for us to have going along with our zoning, going along with our master plan, and understanding what we can and cannot do as far as partnering. Harlem has no interest in annexation. They want to stay Harlem and keep Harlem, but they need a partner to do that. And so we are just at high-level conversations right now talking about that to Harlem. They've announced that at their township meeting. So I thought that this would be the appropriate place to put it out there. And again, this growth plan document has been a great use to understand how we can partner because we all want to stay individuals. But to be able to do that, we might have to work together, and it has to be good for Galena. And so this document has let me understand in some of those conversations what would be good for Galena to do that, because I don't want it to cost the Galena residents anymore. Outside of that, that's all I have right now.
Thank you, Jillian. Administrative report. Tom.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. You'll see a copy of the administrator's report in your packet. Several items on there. One thing I want to note is that the village offices will be closed next week. Memorial Day is a holiday, and then the following days, we are going to be putting epoxy floor coating downstairs for our renovations. The idea is to move the fiscal office and administrative offices downstairs, so all the administrative offices will be on one level, and you'll be able to access that from the Harrison Street entrance to the building. and then we're moving the museum upstairs, so all the historical things will be upstairs. During that process, the company has asked that we do not occupy the building because of the fumes that are emitted from the epoxy coating. So please try to avoid Village Hall during those days. And I'll be online. We'll all be working online, but not in the office. The new Ring Central phone system is being activated. We're happy about that. The ordinance codification process, I've discussed this with the fiscal officer and the village solicitor. We're in the process of getting a quote for that. That's a massive omnibus codification process. I don't know, Ken, do you want to quickly speak to that?
Sure. The codification process is basically taking all the legislation as far back as we tell the workers to go and putting them in order, basically, and making sure that the current legislation is the one that's in the book. I would suggest, if you want to know what codification is, you can take a look at City of Westerville, Sunbury's got codified ordinances. Just call up one of those communities and you'll see what it looks like. And it's really helpful, and it's also helpful when you change things in the future, because you've already got a number section for zoning, whatever it might be, and you just pull one out and put in another. They also check to make sure that anything we do doesn't conflict with the state code, or if it does, they point it out. So that's basically what it is. It's a long process. One of the key questions is going to be, how far back do we tell them to go? I think 1804 is out, but you need to figure out how far we do want to go. Probably beginning of the last century.
Is there a statute? You have to keep
No.
Thank you, Counselor. So we're in the process of that, and the fiscal officer is currently getting information for American Legal, who does that. You folks may remember when you approved the Ohio Basic Code as our village code. It will be that same format. That's published by American Legal. We can get all our ordinances, get them organized, get them put into that format, and get them put online, which will be really nice for all of us to be able to find ordinances. In the process of that, we're doing a zoning code diagnostic to prepare for the codification process, and then some other stuff you see there. Personnel, we are continue to recommend modifying the positions of Logan, Matt, and Lauren, and we are meeting, I think, with the Finance Committee on that. We've hired a new administrative assistant. Her name's Valerie Slaughter. She's starting on Wednesday. She'll be part-time and basically providing backup as Lauren her hours will be reduced. We also hired a summer maintenance worker, Isaiah Wenz. He was out there doing string trimming today in the cemetery. You might have seen a new face. Welcome, Isaiah, to the team. And we are evaluating our quotes from Anthem for employee health insurance. Safety, our traffic counts continue to go up every single month. You can see the new counts for Harrison Street. We're in 36,000 on Harrison Street, 33,000 on Walnut Street. Maximum speeds of 71 miles per hour on both of those streets. So we just continue to see more and more traffic. Most of it's cut-through traffic, we've noted. People getting to the Intel site from 71, cutting through our town. We had a fire inspection at the wastewater treatment plant, and more about that later. Quotes are forthcoming for the ADA, that's the American Disabilities Act, improvements for the exterior of the Village Hall. We want to make sure we're in compliance there. And the Morpsey safety audit has been moved to the week of May 26th, I believe, Mayor. Is that correct?
That's right, next Tuesday.
Service, you may have noticed, I think we conducted our first street sweeping this month. You may have seen the street sweepers come through. That was in preparation for crack sealing, which has been completed. So all the roads in the villages are now crack sealed, which will help the life of those roads. We still are working on this federal grant for the Walnut Street Phase 4 project. That's in the very early stages. The Harrison Street resurfacing and widening project is going on. We are in the process of submitting a few more forms to the Ohio Public Works group there, and we have got our funding approved, so that'll be a total of $460,000 project for the widening and resurfacing of Harrison Street. Decker turned out to be the best quote for the speed tables we've been talking about to hopefully cut down on the 71 mile per hour people going through town. And we have signed the agreement with Decker for 2 speed tables located on Walnut Street. Working on long-term CIP. Village Square, the crosswalk got delayed. The contractor had an injury and is recuperating. So we were hoping to get that project done this month, but we're told it'll be pushed to next month. Like we talked about the Morpsey safety audit, we are coordinating with landscape companies to get a comprehensive landscape plan for the square, for beautification on the square. Councilwoman Krupa has been very helpful with that, and we look forward to having a good comprehensive plan for landscaping. Parks and Path, we're still waiting approval for these various grants that we want to submit for park improvements. Cemetery, we are getting additional fencing quotes. Buildings and grounds, we're getting the quotes for the ADA improvements. The new maintenance building is in full swing. The plans are currently at the Delaware County Building Department's office getting approved, and we hope to break ground in the new maintenance building probably next month, maybe a little ahead of schedule. As you can see, the 170 Harrison building, the old maintenance building, has been demolished. That's been completed. We do need to do some final grading and seeding. The wastewater plant, we had a very nice tour with Big Walnut's middle school students. That went very well. The students really had a good time and learned about wastewater treatment and the river and our efforts in our award-winning wastewater treatment plant that produces the highest quality of water in the state of Ohio. So they were really excited about that, and we had a good time with them. We did a park cleanup in Ruffner Park. We do need to do some improvements in the wastewater treatment plant. We need to do some improvements in our alum addition system. It's kind of a technical process. If any of you are interested, I'd be happy to give you a tour of the wastewater plant. One of the pumps is going bad in the Walnut Creek lift station. We're going to have to replace that soon. And we're getting our permits for installing generators at our lift stations. We're really excited about that because now when the power goes out, those lift stations, they fill up and that's it. And so we have to take a portable generator around from lift station to lift station and pump them down. So the EPA would like us, and we would like to get generators at those lift stations, and that's been budgeted, and we're working through that project. The solids dewatering project is still planned for later this year, and the closed circuit TV inspection camera program is in progress, and we hope to have a 5-year, every year we're going to do 1/5 of our system, so we'll have a 5-year rotation of inspecting our sewer system to make sure that it's in good repair. Engineering, we're getting surveying quotes for the 1792 Old 3C property, and a sewer rate and capacity fee study is in progress. So that's my report. I'd be happy to take questions.
Tom, just a couple things. You indicated all of the roads are done being crack sealed. I think you need to rephrase that. Those that were on the list have been crack sealed,
That's correct. Thank you.
because we weren't on the list. But they did come and clean our street. So that was good. Okay, and under parks, paths, and all that, any feedback on Joe Walker on Walnut Creek on the price of doing that path since it was not done when everything else was done?
Yes, thank you, Councilwoman. We did get a quote for that, and I will forward that to you. We're trying to work it into the budget. If we can't do it this year, we can certainly allocate funds for it next year.
I heard that last year. But that's
I
fine.
wasn't here.
Michelle knows. That's fine.
I had two things. Clearly I live on Walnut. I hear the 71 mile an hour cars that go by. Nothing I can really do. So two things. When's the last time we've had police fulfill the special duty requests?
Yeah, we had the Delaware County Sheriff's Office issued a bunch of tickets last month. You might have seen them parked in the cemetery, but that was not special duty. That was just them on their normal patrol. So we do have some special duty funds, I believe, in the budget, Michelle,
It's 20,000 a year.
and we can allocate those funds.
Well, I mean, I thought that's what we were doing already, weren't we? At one point.
Yeah, we should be.
Well, we were, but they weren't filling the special duty requests.
We can
Delaware
ask, I
counties.
guess that's the point. We can put a ticket in and they may or may not.
Well, I know we said that
take it.
before, and whenever I go talk to the different police that are actually patrolling at those times, they said that they haven't seen a listing for several months.
I have not requested it.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
that he was accurate, okay.
I will follow up on that and get back with you.
Well, because I had a couple of them say, we would love to fulfill these roles. So, I mean, that's kind of opposite of what you were saying, so.
Well, when we had it last year, the budget was barely touched, and
Even when we
and when we
requested.
did the safety committee meetings,
Mm-hmm.
when we specifically requested them for like events or anything, they weren't getting filled because the police departments are already short-staffed. But I say put it out there, as long as we have it out there, somebody might pick it up.
I could
Everyone
talk
wants
to the
to.
sheriff's office and just ask what they recommend
Yeah.
in terms of, how much time or what time of day, and then bring that back.
Yeah. We tried to have those certain timeframes that we talked about, it was like twice a week. You remember, I'm not sure if you were even around for that,
I
but,
don't remember.
like in the morning, and then it was also between like 4 and 6. Like, that we would.
I'll go back and research the records
Right.
and
So besides that, after that, this tabletops that you're talking about possibly getting built, how do we know those aren't going to become ramps for people going 71 miles an hour?
well, they.
So I say
it'll-
at nighttime when it's dark out here, there's not much light.
Yeah.
So my
We're-
question is,
That's
how do we-
that's a great
I
question.
mean, just in my mind.
Yeah, my understanding, so I do some traffic engineering as a civil engineer. The uniform manual for traffic requires advanced warning for those. And so we would be putting up, according to code, the advanced warning signs coming each way. And I would say, if somebody is going fast and they don't heed the advanced warning, that, if their bumper kind of gets damaged, then that may be an outcome.
Now, I know on the sheriff coverage during the community sale on May 10th, I personally saw 4 times that the sheriff was coming around all of our area. So don't know if we got any tickets or not, but they were there.
I did talk to the sheriff about coverage, and he committed to patrolling our area. So, I mean, I guess that's why I haven't followed up on special duty. But I'll certainly follow up and research those records and get back with you on that, Councilman.
Thank you, Tom. Amazing job. Amazing job. Michelle, your report?
Okay, I just have a couple things. We did have one cemetery plot sold. We had one foundation order that was poured, and we notified the monument company, and I believe they've already set the monument. Our next meeting is going to be June 23rd, and just to let you know, I'll be on vacation all next week, so I will not be in the office, even though nobody's going to be in the office. I'm not going to be working at all.
Thank you, Michelle. Finance team, do you have a chance to review the invoices for payment for May?
Yes.
No issues.
Okay, do we have a motion to pay?
I'll motion.
Second.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Kathy, second.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Finance team approval of financial statements. We review the financial statements.
We did. No issues.
Have a motion to approve.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Got that, Michelle? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the zoning report is in your packet. Matt is not here tonight, so we'll begin reading resolutions. Ready? Yeah. All right. Resolution number 2024-25, postponed until tonight, 5/19/25, a resolution adopting rules of council for calendar year 2025. I'm going to turn this to you, Jillian.
So have you guys had the chance to review the document I sent and that Mike sent to see the suggested changes that we requested? I'll go through them in case you just need a little refresh. So the one thing that our council rules was missing is the citizen participation requirements, or not requirements, but limits. The standard is typically a resident gets 3 minutes, a non-resident gets 2 minutes. So we were going to have that added in. Is everyone okay with that, opposed to that?
I do not understand why that would be added to a rules of council.
Well, it's the permit, it was already in here, but when we reviewed it, it was missing the time limit.
Okay.
So we just had to identify which time limit when there's public participation of a resident and a non-resident receives. And so the standard is typically a resident gets 3 minutes, a non-resident gets 2 minutes. So we added the standard
Okay.
into that portion.
Well, Kathy, as long as I've seen you here on this board, I've never seen anybody speak that has overtaken their time. Have you?
Not when I've been here in my presence, but we should have something set.
Okay.
So
So you would like to limit people's being able to speak?
Well, so this is a conversation for us to have, because we've tried to do it through email with no responses. So I'm just bringing this forward. If we don't want to have it, it's not in there. When we reviewed it, it's recommended that you put a time in there. So I put the average time in there, looking for feedback. If we don't want it, we don't have to have it. If we do, we can.
Ms.
So
Claire, is this discussion tonight, or is it, you trying to move on things tonight?
I'm trying to get them to make a decision, because if not, I'll just go through and make the rules. I mean,
Oh.
it's been since January.
I'll agree with residents, 3 minutes, non-residents 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. Most of the time, when you go, in other municipalities, there's generally an accepted time limit for public participation.
Okay.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt?
What?
Can everybody make sure that they're getting close to the microphone? Because it's been difficult over here. So if you guys can make sure you're like very close. Thank you.
And then the last item that I had was implementing a dress code. And I'm suggesting business casual. So there's no hoodies, ripped jeans, logos. We have a business casual minimum, professional look when we're up here for our council meetings.
Does casual include shorts?
Well, let's talk about it. To me, business casual does not include shorts.
But they can be nice-looking shorts, as long as they're not jeans and torn and everything else, but
Oh, skirts.
whatever the rest think.
So if the changes are the one, sorry, I'm going to re-say that. If it's the one change list that, if I'm remembering it correctly, I replied to this, I believe we should just use a generic term for clothes that would fit in a professional setting.
That's fine. I'm
Because
fine with
when you lock it into a specific type of clothes style, that can easily change, or people can get lost in translation.
that. Okay. I'm fine with that. Is everyone else fine with that?
Well, I mean, again, being a small-town village that we are, cowboy hats and T-shirts would be fine with me. I don't really see, again, like limiting people, requiring dress code for when normally times we have about 2 people in the audience. It's just kind of, I am not, is there a right word for that?
I mean, I grew up here, so I just think holding this position, we should come ready, professional. Again, so I like this rule. I feel like it should be implemented. So again, we're not having council people walk in with hoodies looking unprofessional. I think we owe it to the residents to have some level of standard where we're looking professional, because we are representing them, regardless of who's in the audience, to be honest with you.
I can show you a lot of business outfits that have hoodies.
See one.
So I don't know, you going to make the line, you want to make the decision on what someone walks in the door wearing every day?
Well, just talking about council,
No,
of how we come dressed.
that's
That's
what I'm
my
talking
conversation
about,
that I'm having.
Yeah.
So I don't think you should have a hoodie on.
I'm very pro hoodie.
Okay.
I just don't.
I've
I
got a
feel like
hoodie behind me.
this role is higher than that.
take it
So-
off during the meeting.
These are,
I mean, we're
these are
allowed-
council
So
rules.
Just FYI, this is a cashmere hoodie that
It's-
this cashmere.
It's gorgeous.
That comes from Saks Fifth Avenue that, I'm not sure if you shop there, but if you want to classify this as like a hoodie, that's what
I
you're
mean,
saying?
yoga pants are also really expensive. I wouldn't expect me to come in yoga pants.
I'm-
I'm just
okay.
trying to set elected officials at a higher level.
Well, or those
So,
that could come in after they cut their grass and come in and sit down. No, you got to clean up a little bit. That's all.
so again, our rules, is anyone else opposed to it where we shouldn't add that in? No?
You got any opposition?
Okay. And then, since Councilman Fry's not here, I can share his, let me find it.
He's not here to speak for it. I don't know.
Correct. He's not here to speak for his suggested changes, so I don't know if we want to address them. We've all seen them. One of the changes that he requested was removing the, after the third miss of a council meeting, we'd go into executive session to see if the council members still can serve their seat. The reason that he requested when he and I had coffee to remove that is that the rule was put in place for a council member several years ago. Now he's requesting for it to be moved out. My personal opinion is if you're not able to come to the, you have to miss 3 meetings in the calendar year, maybe we should have a discussion if you actually can serve the seat or if we need to find somebody else. So I'm fine keeping it in there.
I think now we're looking at it, it's not like it's an automatic, oh, you missed 3, it's an automatic, you're out. It's more, go to executive session and discuss it. Your parents have been in a hospital or whatever.
Right.
So it's not like an automatic, you're out.
Right. But I think we should allow for the conversation. There's 100 scenarios out there.
Plus, a version of what we currently are using exists in ORC. It's after 3 instead of, where we have it on our third, it would effectively be on the 4th in the ORC. So we've
It
got
is.
it slightly stricter than what the ORC is. So we've got it 1 meeting stricter.
So are we fine keeping that one in? Okay. And then, oh, sorry, shouldn't lean back. Sorry, everyone. Then the next comment that he had, and I do agree with, is that the Finance Committee needs to come up with like our rules, our standards, what our meetings are, because there's not a actual document for that. And that is the one required committee that council members do have to sit on. It's going through the payroll, the finances, just doing those double checks of how the budget's being spent. So I do agree that we should, as the Finance Committee, come up with that and present it to council. I don't think it should be in the rules of council. I don't see how committees should be in rules of council, because to me, they're 2 different scenarios. So that, to me, would be a different document that the Finance Committee would just have to abide by. Is that fine?
Well, so I kind of disagree. So council and the mayor, the position of mayor are the ones who seat and guide where committees go. So we're actually the ones who form the committees, right? So you're right. The financial committee is one that's required by statute and has to have council on it. So no, it should be in the rules of council because we are the ones who would govern said body. So the actual doctrine that governs us should be a trickle-down effect to any committee that we create. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, so would the Finance Committee, go ahead, Kathy.
So is your reference like when we're working on the budget, that type of thing, that normally we, September, October, November, work on the budget or whatnot, but actually publish it ahead of time a little bit more?
Yeah, I think you, Zach, and I need to come up with what those committee rules look like and then present it to council.
Okay.
And I'm fine adding it in. I just,
Yeah.
again, the way my mind was working, I didn't see where committees fit into rules of council, but I do get your point, Pete, because that is our governance, so.
Hey, Ken,
Is this committee different than others in that way, right? We have other committees that are not in the rules of council. Some of them have their own, processes and things documented in separate documents. So just curious if you guys really think it belongs in the rules of the council or somewhere else.
Well, this is a committee that is required by the ORC that we have to have. So I guess to Pete's point, if we have to have it and it has to be council members, it should be in the rules of council.
So I think that rules of council should speak to all committees, and then the committee itself can come up with their operating guidelines are. But so if the rules of council are a roadmap, right? Once we get into a committee, then the committee can dictate at the direction of council when they're going to have meetings, how many people are going to be on said committee, so on and so forth. But the rules of council should speak at a minimum to the creation of committees and then who is on said committees. Does that make sense? So there is autonomy within the committee to kind of develop, right, and grow, but at a base level, it should speak to committees and the rules of council.
Should we review all of our committees to see which ones are viable and which ones aren't that we
I think
have
so,
right now?
yeah.
Or maybe to move this along, you put a higher level general statement.
Correct.
And then a takeaway is for us to
Right.
list them all and be working on it.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll work with the mayor and Ken to make these adjustments to the document correctly. We'll get it out to all of you. And so I'd like for everybody to be ready to vote and make a decision for the June meeting. So we can, again, that'll be 6 months that we've been working through this, so.
So if we're ready to move, I guess I ask for a motion to postpone resolution number 2024-25 until the June 23rd meeting.
I'll motion.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Michelle?
Pete?
And Pete, would you help me look at that, just because I know you have more
Yep,
experience
absolutely.
with this, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
We'll take
Okay. Pete,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes,
Jillian,
Yes.
and Josh.
Thank you. Resolution number 2025-13, third reading emergency, a resolution authorizing the filing of a grant application for an ODNR NatureWorks grant and declaring an emergency. As this is the third reading, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll motion.
Have a
second.
Kathy, second.
Are you ready, Mayor? Okay. Josh,
Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes,
Zach,
Yes.
Pete.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution number 2025-14, third reading emergency, a resolution authorizing to solicit quotes and select the best contractor in excess of the village administrator's authority not to exceed $50,000 for ODNR park improvements and declaring an emergency. And this will bring water, sewer, drinking fountain to the Miller Park. What else, Tom?
That's correct, Mayor. These grant funds have been approved and received, and we are authorized to spend them as far as ODNR goes, but we need a resolution here to do that. And those funds are intended for Miller Park improvements, including a water line, a water meter, and a water line. Be our first water to Miller Park. And that will go to supply future restrooms in the park, and it'll also go to activate a live drinking fountain, which I think would be a nice addition to the park. In addition to water, we are going to extend sewer service from the sewer line that's running down Walnut Street into Miller Park to service future restrooms in the park. And in addition to those two infrastructure improvements, we're going to be able to do some site improvements. We're going to be able to get some gravel and improve the parking lot. And we don't have quotes on all that yet, but we'd like to go out and solicit quotes for that work.
Great.
I'll motion.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Kathy,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Pete,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Jillian.
Yes.
Thank you all. Resolution number 2025-30, third reading, a resolution authorizing acceptance of grant funding from the Ohio Public Works Commission, OPWC, in Delaware County for Harrison Street improvements, and authorizing the village administrator to solicit design-build proposals and to enter into contract with the selected design builder in excess of the village administrator's authority, not to exceed $460,000. That's our third reading. I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
You're ready, Michelle.
Jillian,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Kathy,
No.
Zach,
Yes.
and Pete.
Yes.
All right, that's approved. All right, resolution number 2025-31, third reading, a resolution authorizing solicitation of proposals and selection of the best qualified proposer in excess of the village administrator's authority not to exceed $250,000 for wastewater treatment plant sludge dewatering capital improvements. Tom, you want to comment on that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of council, this project has been discussed for quite some time. It involves improving the wastewater treatment plant to be able to dewater sludge. So the wastewater treatment plant uses a biological process to treat the sewage, and there's excess biological material that needs to be disposed of. Currently, we haul that material off-site and ask the fiscal officer to give us an estimate of our monthly expense for that hauling.
We usually spend between $6,000 and $9,000 a month.
So if we figure an average of 7,500, 8,000 a month times 12 months, we're spending upwards of $100,000 a year to haul off this material. Most of it's water. 99% of it is water. So we're spending $100,000 a year to haul water. If we could take the water out of it and get it up to like a 15 or 20% instead of a 1%, we will decrease our hauling costs significantly to more like $10,000. So we should be able to save significant funds. Now, I can't give exact numbers on what that savings will be, but the estimates are that we could pay for this project in 3 years with the savings that we'll get from dewatering the material. And so we recommend, I'm asking council to authorize me to go do a design build project to get this work done. So that's the project.
Any questions for Tom?
Yeah, Tom, so it's showing the not to exceed 250,000. Are these funds sitting in an account in the budget right now?
Yes, they are in the budget. And
They are?
under sewer, yeah.
Okay.
Sewer budget, by the way, yeah. Josh, did you have something?
So I know our budgets must be a lot bigger than we have been seeing in the past. Is that right, Tom? Yeah, we were joking about this last time. So for us to delve right into all of these big projects right away, like this year, like right now, like everything's an emergency. 400,000 to the new sewer build project, renovating that area over there, along with some of the other large expenditures. Is there any reason that we couldn't maybe just say, is there any benefit to maybe holding off 1 year or waiting until maybe some of the other NCA, et cetera, money come in or even grant money to try to go after it in that way?
Well, the $400,000 was for the Harrison Street project, and that's essentially all grant money. So we wouldn't be, I think our portion of that is like $50,000. You may have been speaking about the maintenance building.
About the maintenance building.
Yeah, that's a $70,000 project. But again, that's going to save us over $3,000 a month on rent we won't be paying.
Well,
So-
I just want to make a
No,
distinction.
I get the concept of it.
Yeah.
I'm just asking, like,
Josh, real quick, I'll make a distinction here. We have really two budgets. We've got the general fund and we've got the sewer fund. So the sewer fund contemplates these type of investments. It's a lockbox, if you will. So these funds come from that direction, not from kind of things that we use for parks and other things. So it's sewer only, right? Just make sure we're.
To answer your question fairly, we do not have to do this project. It'll start saving us money right away. It was contemplated when we built the plant that we would ultimately be doing this project at some point, and the hauling costs have just gotten so high that it's just hard to spend $8,000 every month hauling water away when we could dewater the material. It's a pretty easy project to do. We have the funds for it,
And we talked about this when we did the budget for this year, back in July, August, when we were going through that whole budget process. We allocated for this in the sewer budget. So this is just the formality, but this is that sludge conversation that we've had for 6-8 months. And this is the third reading.
It's good questions, though. It's good to clarify. Anything else?
Not for this.
Not
one.
for this.
And the sewer budget, you can only spend in sewer.
that's correct. There are no grants available.
All right. Any other discussion on this one? Do I have a motion to approve the resolution number 2025-31?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Zach, second. When you're ready, Michelle.
Pete,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution number 2025-33, second reading, emergency. A resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Sunbury, Village of Galena, and Township of Berkshire, Delaware County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Again, this is the agreement that completes the work for the joint recreational district that's being contemplated by the new board, all right? We're participating in that with our neighbors. And this agreement, really, we're the only municipality that hasn't signed this thing yet. But we are in our second reading, so to move it forward, we'll need to suspend the rules. And so I would like to ask for a motion to suspend the rules.
Well, just more explanation. So this is the kickoff of what everyone says they want. They want swimming pool, they want gyms, they want, well, we've entered in with Berkshire and with Sunbury jointly to see what we can come up with. So that's what this kickoff is. Well, it's been going on for about a year now, but
And we have 2 residents that are attending those board meetings, and we're the only ones that haven't formally passed this on their behalf. So I'd like us to take that into consideration, that we have 2 volunteers in the community. And I'd like to pass it as emergency tonight, so we show them that we are supporting them and behind them. So I will make that motion to suspend the rules.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
Josh,
No.
Jillian,
Yes.
Kathy,
yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Pete.
Yes.
Moving on. Resolution number 2025-34, second reading. A resolution to repeal and replace the rules, regulations, and reservation application for the village municipal building. Next month, we'll be voting on this. I'll just encourage everybody to be familiar with the application changes that you have in your packet. Resolution number 2025-35, first reading. A resolution incorporating the village growth strategy to become part of the comprehensive plan for the village of Galena. The thing I will ask here of council is if you have suggested changes. Now, again, this is passed through zoning, okay? But if you have suggested changes, please get those in writing to Jillian and myself so we can distribute those and you guys have a chance to work through that well before next meeting. I appreciate that. Okay, resolution number
So,
20.
Sorry, I did want to bring something up
Sure.
on this point. You know, I know it was, like you said, it was the elephant in the room last time. Seeing that, you know, with reading the plan, I don't know if anybody else has been able to read the plan fully or taken the time to do so. But like, Kathy, are you okay with large apartment complexes in Galena? Well, I mean, so I was like, okay, so if we went down, up and down the line here.
But
Pete,
first,
Pete, if I were to ask you, are you okay with large apartment complexes? Would you be able to say yes or no?
So you have to quantify that because it has to hold up to zoning, right? And zoning is for density 10%. So what is large, right? You're talking 700 apartments? Then that means we need to build 7,000
Well, no,
homes.
okay,
We don't have enough room
that's
for
kinda-
that.
But you're making my point for me.
Yeah,
because
no.
Within the plan, it says things like, we're missing in middle housing, 3-story apartment buildings. Do you believe we're missing 3-story apartment buildings here in Galena? Yes, it does. It doesn't say 3-story apartment. It says threeplexes with missing middle housing. It says it right there. It says 3-story.
It shows you a variation of what that
triplex.
middle housing looks like. You're
So
just picking out
my
one.
question, yeah, I'm picking out everything that's in there. My question is, I mean, are you guys okay with having 3-story apartment buildings? And if so, if you're not, then why do we have it in there? Is my concern.
The plan is, that-
If none of us are okay with that, then if you are, that's one thing. That's why I'm
So
asking.
what does the zoning code say that the maximum height for a building can be in the village?
35 feet,
35.
And how many stories is that?
3 stories.
So if it's in the zoning code and
it's
it says that you can
but
do
it's
it, so
saying
now
we're
I'm supposed to
missing-
limit a
it's saying-
developer from being able to
It's
do
saying
something
we're
that's in the
missing-
zoning
We're
code?
not gonna
It's saying
interrupt
we're
each other.
missing that. You feel like we're missing that?
I feel like if
And I just want-
if
that's
it's
why-
in the zoning code,
Okay.
right, and a developer wants to conform and adhere to the zoning code, and it happens to be 3 stories, then the building's going to be 3 stories. Much like if you have enough money to build a 3-story house, am I allowed to tell you you can't build a 3-story house because we do not have a need for a 3-story house in Galena?
Okay, so, Zach, do you feel like we're missing 3-story apartment buildings?
no, Josh,
Yeah,
you're
that's
taking
not-
one piece of the plan.
Yeah,
And
I-
it is an independent tool. It does not trump our zoning code
Do you
and our
feel like
master
we're
plan.
missing a 3-story apartment building?
It's one piece of the plan.
I'm
And
not-
I
I'm
want to
just- it's
see
a
an
simple-
entire
You guys,
plan.
I'm trying to
Mr.
make
Mayor,
this
I'll call for the
I'm trying
question.
to make this as simple as possible, guys. I'm asking you one question. Do you feel like we're missing it or not? And if we're not, then why is it in the plan?
Mr.
But
Mayor,
if you
I
do
call for the
believe-
question.
But if you do think that that's what we're missing, then, okay, then it goes along with what you
Yeah, I know.
would vote and go for.
I'm not answering your question, and I'm encouraging everybody else not to, because you're trying to pinpoint us into one piece of a very dynamic plan that we've worked on for a year, and planning and zoning has worked on this for a year. There's a lot to that growth plan. And like I said, it was very helpful when Harlem Township came to me and came to us and said, we want to stay Harlem Township, we don't want to get annexed, how can you help us? That is through sewer, providing them sewer. I need to know what's good for Galena and how we provide that sewer. I can't have that sewer cost increase for Galena. So this plan, a lot of that plan helped us to have those conversations, and we still are, because guess what? I like Harlem Township. I want them to stay Harlem Township. If I can help them do that, if we can help them do that, then so be it. So stop with the
No,
3-story
first off, you don't get to
Just
tell me
stop.
to stop. No.
Yes, you're totally
You're asking me to have
sidelining
conversations and communicating, and at the same time, you're saying stop.
Because you're trying to go down the line and say,
No,
no,
I'm
you
not.
said it,
It's
you
a
said it, you
simple-
said it.
it's a very simple question.
So then somebody here
It's a
can
very
say, Jillian said,
simple
yes, she
question.
supports 3-story buildings. And
Jeff,
that's
call
going to
to
go on
order.
social
I mean, you-
media, and it's going to be
You
taken
said it
completely out
was
of
the elephant in the
context.
room, right? You
Yeah.
said it was the elephant in the
So
room.
let's move
We
on.
should have conversation, we should talk about it.
Yeah.
You just asked us
Call
to
to
do
order.
that.
Just call to
And
order.
that's
We
what
have a
I'm trying
call
to
to
do.
order. Do we have a second on the call to order?
I second.
All right, we will vote on the call to order.
You guys heard who to vote for in November, just remember that.
Michelle?
Yeah.
They
Cool.
did.
Yep, they did. You want apartment complexes? You know.
We got a call to order, Michelle?
Pete,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
Josh.
No.
All right, resolution number 2025-36, first reading. A resolution authorizing the expenditure of $15,000 from the NCA fund for purposes of completing the cemetery fencing at the Galena Cemetery. You know that we've been making investments as one of our priorities this year that we all agreed was a priority, not only Miller Park, but the cemetery. We've made, I think, significant improvements there this year, but it's not complete. And we do have NCA funds, and that's a perfect, I think, opportunity to use funds is to complete the fencing on the cemetery. Now, we bring it down the sides, all right? We're not going to run fencing around the back, and we would paint the rest of the mesh black. So from the street, the visual will be quite nice. So.
Right, to be clear, it's not that we're going to run black fencing all the way down the side.
Correct.
We're going to determine how far we take it, visually looks fine.
Correct.
And then paint the rest of it black, and black across the back.
Correct.
It's not a big dollar amount to do that.
Not huge, right. Tom, did you want to say anything more about that?
No, just that we received quotes, and I think we got really reasonable quotes to extend the fence. It'll match the front, and I think that when you drive down Walnut, right now it looks a little bit odd. We have the nice new fence in front, and then the old chain link fence on the side, and we're just going to extend the new black fencing down, so when you drive from either side, it will all look new.
Thank you. So I think it'd be a great project for us to get done by summer. So if we could make a motion to suspend the rules, we can try to move forward with this. You have a motion? Do
I'll make the motion to suspend the rules.
we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Michelle?
Pete did.
Pete had the second.
Pete
Who was the
seconded.
motion and
So
second?
second.
Kathy, then Pete.
Thank you.
We can't hear that table.
Well, they were whispering with the mics out.
Pete,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2025-36?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Kathy and Pete?
Jillian,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Pete.
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-37, first reading emergency, a resolution authorizing the donation of $2,500 to the Big Walnut Civic Association to be utilized for fireworks and declaring an emergency. Julian, you want to hit this one again?
Yeah, again, for those that didn't hear in my president report, the Big Walnut Civic Association has asked, because costs are only going up and fireworks are going up, again, this is with the spirit of the Joint Recreational District, that if Galena could contribute to the cost of the parade and the cost of the fireworks, including what it takes to have police and fire there. So the 2,500 came from the 10% number that Galena contributes to the Joint Recreational District. So that's where that mindset was for this. And we're asking for it to be passed as an emergency tonight because they have to deliver the deposit and the payment for the fireworks within a couple weeks. And so by the time we go through these three, we wouldn't be able to help them meet that deadline. And they just brought this to us at the last council meeting. So,
So I assume you'll make the motion to suspend?
yes, I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Kathy, second. Show when you're ready.
Josh,
Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Pete.
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 2025-37, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Pete's motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Jillian, second.
Kathy,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Pete,
Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
thank you all. The next two resolutions, I'd like Michelle just to speak to this. This is associated with the grants that we've already approved. Go ahead, Michelle.
Did you want to read them first?
Just
or-
to explain what we're doing.
Okay, so the next two resolutions, this is kind of some background things that need to happen. We're going to have to advance the funds from the general to be able to pay for these items because you don't get the money up front, you get reimbursed for it. So, and we have to run it through a special grant construction fund for ODNR. So the first one, it will be asking for advancing the funds. And then the second one is something we have to do with the county. It's authorizing an increase to the budget because we didn't have it in the budget. So we have to put it in the budget under the grant construction ODNR fund. And so in order to do these, if we want to spend the money right away, we would need to suspend the rules. The second one that goes to the county, they only meet once a month. They meet on the second Monday of the month. So if we would approve this tonight, I would get something back sometime that second week of June.
Thank you, Michelle. Again, these are just to tie these together. These tie together with the discussion we just had about bringing water and all those goodies to Miller Park. So this completes that cycle. So let's go through these. Resolution number 2025-38, first reading emergency. A resolution advancing funds in the amount of $49,000 from General Fund 1000 to Grant Construction ODNR 4201 and declaring an emergency. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules?
I'll make the motion.
Pete, motion, second.
I'll second.
Julian, second.
Josh? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Jillian?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Thank you all. Resolution number 2025-38. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Kathy, a second.
I'll second.
Zach, second.
Kathy?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Jillian?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution number 2025-39, first reading emergency. A resolution authorizing an increase in the budget in amount of $49,000 for the purpose of appropriation of the advanced funds to the Grant Construction ODNR Fund 4201 and declaring an emergency. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Pete, second.
Jillian?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution number 2025-39. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll
I'll ma-
motion.
There you go. I'll second.
Pete?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Jillian?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Thank you all. Okay, next, go ahead, Tom. You want to do it? Next up, we, as a village, you recall in the last two election cycles, the village made decisions to aggregate our entire village for purposes of better rates with both electric and gas. Tonight, we need to consider our electric aggregation because it's expiring, I believe, in May, and we have John Thiebert here with us tonight from Aspen Energy, who's our consultant. Maybe John can give us an update. We've been reading it. It's the third reading. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. Again, my name's John Thiebert, Aspen Energy. We run the aggregation program, electric aggregation program for Village of Galena. Sorry, okay. We've been running for the past year, and it's coming to expire. So we're looking at a new program. We're working a lot with Tom here, trying to get rates to be more favorable for the village. We're going to have some big increases, and there's kind of a lot of things that happened the past year that were did not go in our favor, to be honest, actually for anybody. So we ran the RFP. We had everybody. We had 6 suppliers total, and we had 2 responses. When we did this, our current supplier is Dynegy. We had them quote again. We had Constellation quote. I provide both of these there. As you can see, Constellation is a little bit cheaper, which I would recommend. Constellation's very good at their aggregation programs. They run a very well, good opt-out letters, good communication with the community. Dynegy is just a little bit high this time. If we go with Dynegy, I just feel that we'll be over what the utility is going to be at AEP. AEP is going to come to around 10 cents June, so next month. July looks like to be about 10.3, so 10.3 cents. It's a pretty big increase from currently what AEP is at 7.3. So see about 3 cent change. Everybody's going to see it across Ohio, not just AEP. Everybody from First Energy down to Duke, even in Pennsylvania. We're all on the same power grid, and the reason why we're seeing huge increase is it's kind of second page here that I passed out. is this is our power grid. It's called PJM. So it's 13 states total that we're a part of. This is the increase that we're seeing across the board. The first column, it's called resource clearing price. Basically, right now, we're at $20.92. That little factor basically gets multiplied into a calculation. It gives you capacity. Capacity is going through the roof due to AI and data centers coming online, and we're going to see a lot more of those coming forward for the next couple of years. So it's going from $28.92 to $269, $270 basically. Because of that, that's resulting in the 2.5 cents to 3 cent increase in your electric. So can't get away from this unless you put solar on your roof, unless you actually want to do the solar route and actually get away from the grid a little more. But this is calculated in there, and that's the factor that we're going up to. What we're seeing, PJM is going to be seeing this go for the next 3 years till June of 28. They're going to see higher capacity rates for the next couple of years. Basically, our grid isn't set up to what's about to come online. It's kind of the story. There's a lot that's happening for generation that has been retired and a lot kicking online due to data center increases. And because of that, we're going to see high capacity. And PJM actually put a statement out last week. There's a higher increase of possibility of brownouts due to that, which is kind of, we're a very stable grid. PJM is a very good grid compared to the rest of the United States. And them putting a warning out like that's kind of crazy. So, long story short, we're seeing about 3 cent increase, a less than 3 cent increase for Constellation going 12 months. Again, that's going to be below what the utility is for the entire 12 months. So people will be seeing savings. This is a choice program. You don't have to be in this program at all. It's completely your choice. You can be in other program if you want. If you want to leave the program, it's no fee to you, be in or out of the program. So, and also there's no additional fees for the village at all. So, but besides that, I guess I'll just have some questions. I'm sure there are some.
So your suggestion would go with Constellation? Constellation?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. So now looking at the amounts, they're darn near the same for 24 months and 36 months. I guess I jump these suppliers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to me, the price isn't going to go down. It just doesn't go down. So I'm thinking that we might even stretch to the 36 months.
Honestly,
Any
that's what I was
thoughts?
thinking.
What is your thought?
There is possibility. 36 months, it's the long term. We don't know about the savings that could be there. There could be savings. I mean, but the market could definitely increase on us as well. What we've seen the last less than a year, to be honest. I actually sent April meeting. I sent over pricing. I had Constellation. Everybody was about 10.5 cents, and they have really come down in 1 month. So the market is right now, it's a commodity market. It's very volatile. We've seen, especially the past 2 months. There could be an opening where we see rates go down, and there could be. I mean, I don't think we can get much lower, but at the same time, we could get hurt. It just depends on kind of what's going on globally, because this is controlled actually by natural gas. Natural gas is the main provider for electricity across the United States. So it's a commodity market that gets sold. We sell it overseas like crazy, and there's a lot of factors that go into that that can shift this market.
So do you have, John, do you have a recommendation on the length here, whether it's 12 months, 24 months?
I think 12 or 24, you're going to see savings 100%, no matter what. 36, I think we can actually get down a little further than that.
Can we sign beyond a 12-month, Tom, do you know? Or Ken?
As long as the contract is fully operational, in other words, the next council coming in won't have to do anything. It's already in place for a year, 2 years, 3 years, et cetera.
Aren't we operational because we've been doing this for a year or two now?
Yes.
Okay, so we could.
Yeah, you're certified, and
All right.
we keep the certification up for you guys.
My recommendation would be to do the 12-month. It's only 1 cent different, and that would also provide for us to renegotiate in a year. And with all the deregulation and increased energy supply that's going on right now with the new policies in place, hopefully we'll generate more natural gas, which will then lower the price of electricity. And I think we keep our options open if we did 12 months, but it's certainly the will of council.
Well, I mean, the region is all that blue you showed us on that map, right? That's, everybody's in that same region, getting the same price across the,
No, well, they have different, a lot of these, it
So-
depends on your utility. and
so help me understand, in our general area, Galena surrounding area,
Yeah,
with everything going on with Intel, AEP, struggling to keep up, I'm guessing, right? Is that what would drive our decision on these rates, or is it a broader umbrella than that?
so to give you some ideas, so Genoa Townships right now, they did 12-month at 937. Harlem Township did 12-month at 9399. And Delaware did 928 for 12-month. I think they might be green. I'm not sure if that's their green rate or brown rate.
Everybody's doing 12 months. So everybody's doing 12 months around it.
It looks like it, yeah.
What's your preference, based on what you've heard? Does anybody have, I guess I'm with 12 months based on what they're recommending.
We just did the city of Bexley as well. They did a green rate of 9.4, but of course Bexley's
Line four.
pretty big, decent size.
Are there, because their rates are a little lower than what we have here, is that because they use more or they signed
earlier.
sooner?
They signed sooner and basically they are a little bit bigger. I mean, it's usage comes down to it. So it's kind of a combination of both. And like I said, when I gave rates to Tom last month, we were in 10 cents and about almost half a penny less now. But now we'll know we'll be under, for the 12-month, we'll be under the AP rate. So people will be seeing savings no matter what.
So indeed, as we all know, it's like paying the stock market. So
That's what it feels like.
personally, I always go for the longer rate, but times right now are very different. So I'm willing to go 12 or 24, depends on the rest and what they want to go.
Well, we just need Tom to have the direction, so.
Mhm.
I'm fine
I'm
with
with
12
12,
months.
based on what their recommendation, but.
What are you good with 12, Josh?
Yeah, depending on what happens, I guess. 12 is probably.
We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
So we'll have Tom go with Constellation and 12 months?
12 months.
Because Zach can't comment. He's never paid electric.
Yeah, no, I ain't got no electric bill.
John, thank you for coming out to be with us
Thank you.
tonight.
Yeah, I just want to thank John. Asp does a great job for us, and thank you for helping us out.
So one quick question also, just because this is an emergency, so we want it to go in effect today, so it doesn't go up.
Correct. So this
Okay.
is for July start date. I'll be sending over the agreement over to Tom in the morning with everything filled out.
Yeah.
We'll have it signed that day and be kicked off, and people will get an opt-out letter that's eligible.
Okay,
And same process as it was a year ago, same
Okay.
process.
perfect.
We've been reading this one. This is our third reading.
Yeah.
Ordinance number 2025-05, third reading, emergency, an ordinance to approve the supplier for the Village of Galena Electric Aggregation Program and declaring an emergency. Do I have a motion to approve?
All motion?
Jillian, a second?
I'll second.
Pete, second? And when you're ready, Michelle.
Pete,
Yes.
Zach,
I'll abstain.
Kathy,
You can pay my bill next month. Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Thank you all. Ordinance number 2025-10, first reading, an ordinance prohibiting parking on certain areas of Harrison Street, not previously so designated, and declaring an emergency. I don't know why that's there.
Yeah, this is
We'll
the
be
first
We'll be reading this again next month,
Yeah.
but this sets
What's
us
the
up
issue?
for the widening of Harrison Street.
But are you talking those that are parking up by the
You
sidewalk
have a
and the?
picture, and
I saw the picture,
have
but
a
it
picture?
didn't help
Well,
me.
could we, because this is how it came out.
Oh.
So if we could just get a colored
Yes.
copy of the picture.
Yeah, it's black and white.
I will make sure you have one.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
So
you.
would it be those down beyond us?
It's really.
It should be
from
color when I
the
sent it to
point
you.
all the way
I just
up
didn't
to
make them
where we'll be
copies.
doing the widening.
So the ones who park their vehicles right at the
On,
sidewalk,
What is this side here?
that'll be the
The north side? The west side? What's that, Zach? What
Northwest.
side's your house?
Probably northwest.
Northwest. Okay. I'll get you a color copy of this.
So, so would it be those that park their vehicles right by the sidewalk?
Yeah.
There's a couple
Yep.
hoppers or something, landscaping,
Yep.
Hoopers.
hoopers, hoppers.
No, they got two O's. We got two P's.
Okay.
All right, we'll be
Wow.
reading this again
And,
next
and
month.
this has to do with the resurfacing.
I'm sorry, I was having a side conversation
No.
with John.
We were getting questions from Kathy about the side of the street that we would close the parking on.
Oh, this is the,
And we need a color copy to everybody because it didn't come out in the
okay.
package.
Yeah, the color copy went when I sent out the packets.
Okay, so the plan is that the Harrison Street project will be a resurfacing and a widening. The fire chief has asked us to widen, and it's probably one of the reasons that we got the grant money as well, because it's a safety issue. And the only direction to widen the street is to the west. Right?
Closer to where the ball fields are and over
I
that
think
way?
Well,
No?
you go down the slope if we go the other way. So, in order to do that work and get in there, there's a storm sewer, catch basin, and so forth.
Okay.
We really need to restrict parking over there, and really, I don't think there's. I think there's no park. We had at one point no parking there, but we need to get that all cleared out so we can work over there.
So once it's decided, if it's passed, are you going to formally notify all those residents?
Yeah, we'd send a letter out and we'd give them some time to make other arrangements. Whatever council decides, we can give them a week, 30 days. Counselor, do you have a recommendation on what kind of advance notice to give?
I guess it would depend on when the contract's planned to start, or,
We don't have a start date for the street yet, so.
Correct. The solicitor recommended 2 weeks' notice, but we do need to get in there and start doing some work now, especially to the storm sewer.
I would give them plenty of notice. All right, ordinance number 2025-11, first reading, an ordinance providing for final acceptance of the public improvements of the estates at Black Hawk Phase D. This is our former Mayor Love's neighborhood. This is just, you'll see in the back here, a letter from KEM. They have completed all the punch list items, and so we're now ready to close all that out. All right. Any committee reports?
I've got one for the Ohio, or the Delaware County Health District. I've been in talks with our representative about the tire drive, where we bring the tires, the old tires, to get them, whatever they do with them, to get rid of them.
They go into playgrounds.
And so unfortunately, they did not get a specific grant that they wanted to get, so they will be unable to do a second one this year like they wanted to do. So they are still planning to do one of them. Date is to be determined.
You can bring your tires.
I mean, got a couple of them last year before, they.
Zach, when you have a date and more details, if you want to share it with Lauren, she's really good at getting on the website, social media. so
Okay,
we
I can do
let the
that.
community know. Yep.
Any other committee reports?
The Records Commission met recently. And it's been a while, and we need to make sure that we update our records retention policies in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code. And it was resolved in the commission meeting that we would contact the proper state authorities and get a status update for Galena and get their recommendation on what steps we would need to take to be compliant.
Great. Anybody else? Other business?
wait a second.
Josh, you want to do a quick
Fire
update?
department.
You want to do fire department?
Fire
Please.
department, station number 2.
Okay.
It is moving along. They're starting to put trailers there. We've already had a major change on the beautiful brick that we had planned on the outside, but it's in such backlog, just like on HGTV. So we had to go down to a smaller size brick, but everything other than that's moving.
Anything on Memorial Day you want to share?
Okay, so on the 26th is Memorial Day, and at 12 o'clock, we'll be at the square. I encourage everyone who's either served or has a family member that's a veteran or passed away, alive or have passed, to bring either some memorabilia, photos. We're going to have free coffee available, and we're going to have just like kind of a sit down, just so where people can just share photos, talk about their family members. Free coffee is provided by one of the roasters here in Galena. And then at 1 o'clock at that same location, we'll have a ceremony, hopefully taps. Our daughter is playing taps, hopefully. She can pull that one off. She still remembers. And then we'll have this short ceremony, and then after that, we'll walk down to the cemetery where there's kind of some history of some veterans that are buried there. And Dave Simmons will conduct that portion of it.
Dave does a great job. Thank you. Josh, anything from anybody else? We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion.
Josh, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned at 7:18. Thank you all.